The
As soon as
following
stream
content contains adult language and humor that is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The views and opinions expressed during the following video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you.
The part of Cash Money 007 will be played by Cash Money 007.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome one and all to this edition of Pacific 4 Pop Talk, coming to you live on the Phantom Hooligans, Pacific 4 on YouTube, X, Rumble, also deleted scenes, YouTube, and X. Along with Cash Money 007, Baron Norman Tag, and our returning special guest deleted scenes. I am your host, Mike, and today we are going to catch up with our first guest of 2024 and find out how things have gone since he was last on Pacific 4 Pop Talk on Sunday, January 13th.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
You'll have to excuse Baron deleted. Sometimes he gets that way.
he's an acquired taste. I'll get used to him.
Yes.
You're right. He is an acquired taste.
Take my authority!
Exactly, Baron. Exactly. But before we go in with the questions and the answers, I do want to say hello to everybody who's here right now. Of course, our special guest, returning guest, deleted scenes, was the first one here.
Yay!
And Phil McCracken was here. Says, can't stay for the stream. I'm having cake and ice cream for my birthday. But please take a moment for Cash Money, who was sad for a couple days with no Pop Talk. Show him support.
If you're gonna spell Pop Talks, please spell it properly, Phil. Come on, man.
Pop Toad. But happy birthday! I know you're going to have a special birthday with your neighbor Joey there. Ice cream together, reminiscing about days of old.
But Phil, you mentioned that it's your birthday. It's his birthday. What should we do, gentlemen? What should we do?
Well, I got a stripper going to his place right now.
Yeah, I'm sure his girlfriend will be thrilled about that.
Well, a midget stripper, everybody's amused by that, aren't they? Honestly.
They're called little people, Baron. Come on, man.
Get it right, Baron.
They're many me's. They're many strips. Many strips. That's what they are.
But here's what we can do, gentlemen. We can serenade Phil McCracken with a song that's in public domain, so won't have to worry about getting hit by YouTube.
A song. They hate us.
Oh, quite you.
What?
But a song that tonight we will dedicate to Phil.
Oh,
so out of tune, he'll probably say, Team Epic Phil rises again. Because, that's what he's going to say.
Well, I didn't know.
So-
Hey, goodbye. I didn't know that was in the public domain anymore. I'm ready.
No, it's not in the public domain, Baron.
Well, we're singing that, right? And you said it was in public domain. Hey, goodbye.
No, I was thinking of something that's, I don't know, apropos, since it is his day of birth, his birthday.
Mm.
So,
Today
Baron,
is your
Baron,
birthday. What?
well, no. We can't sing that. That's still on copyright.
Well,
But no.
you were saying happy birthday, and that's a happy birthday song, right?
Yes. Happy birthday to you. Come on, Cass.
Happy birthday to that old man, Phil McCracken.
Happy birthday, Phil McCracken. Don't leave me hang, guys.
I won't.
Happy
birthday
birthday to you.
The man from the Matrix who takes the wrong pills.
I was with you the whole time. Was Cash that was messing you up?
Well, we had to make sure it didn't sound like it wasn't in sync, so it had to be in sync more.
Who cares? It's Phil.
All right, fair. But I was trying to be a little nice. I was trying to be a little nice.
We were nice. We sang to him.
We were. We sang happy birthday to the guy who trolls us each and every Friday.
Right?
And now
He
he's
trolls us every day. He
He's
trolls
sitting
us
down
all
with
the
Joey and
time.
Dr. Chill and having that ice cream, celebrating the
That's
birthday.
right. Yeah, just don't fall on the ice cream, old man Philly boy. Don't do it.
You kidding? Don't
Do
try to take the ice cream away from him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hello to Space Fraggle. Good to see you.
So is he living on Fraggle Asteroid? Because, that is a rock.
No,
Down
not
Fraggle
bad.
Rock.
Cass, good to see you.
good to see you,
Oh, I
Cass.
guess.
Well, it's good to know
Ow.
that your friend didn't break his wrist. He
Yeah.
sprained it. That's still not good, but
Yeah.
Eh.
Sometimes sprains are worse than breaks.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope it's not
Yeah.
bad for you.
it's just Phil made such a big deal about his birthday the other day to me. He's like, "What are you buying me? What are you buying me?" And it's like, "Is there something you want me to buy you? Let's go look at your wish list. You have nothing on here, really."
fabric folds, Pop Talk tarts. Jeez.
I don't call. I
Have
don't
your
call-
breakfast with Pop Talk. With Pop Talk tarts coming sometime.
What flavor would you think that'd be? But I wouldn't call that fabric folds. It's something I'd call something with a certain animal with a hump that walks around in Africa. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Midget strippers are like violinists at dinner. It's really cool for 15 minutes, and then it's just awkward.
Wow. Well,
I just want to say, the taller they are, the more offended they are by the midgets. The short ones don't give a rip. They enjoy. They don't care. They're cool. They're cool. Besides, it takes 3 of them to get on top of each other's shoulders to punch you in the nose, so they learn to live with it.
Now, a midget stripper violinist is fun for the whole evening.
Ooh, yeah. There we go. Rosin the bow. My bow's getting rosin.
So are mine when I'm typing too, or more like pecking at the keys.
You are a pecker. Whoa, that phrasing. I know, honestly. I didn't realize that.
Again, deleting. I apologize for Baird. He's the problem host of Pop Talk.
I did not even plan that either. It's like I realized after I said something. Like, oh, whoa! Quick and easy.
yeah.
And here I was hoping this wouldn't get ugly.
Hey, I'm in the show.
Just wait. Bear will take it in directions. Even though I go,
Karen will
"Oh,
make people
shit."
laugh, delete it, and cry at the same time. Yeah, look at him.
I'll go, yeah.
He thinks he's a pirate all the time.
Actually, I'd say
Wait,
that's
he
the-
isn't?
Maybe not. He could
Back
be.
in the day.
Yeah.
I'm just paralyzed from the neck up. That's my problem. So
No,
But deleted again.
I'm paralyzed
as
from
I
the
said
knee
in
down.
And as I said in the beginning, you were our first guest of 2024 back on January 13th. And I know quite a few things have happened between that time and now. So why don't you catch us up to speed as far as how your channel's been doing? And
Remember, Mike, don't ask any questions about that thing that happened, okay? He specifically told us not to bring anything about that.
wasn't that your thing?
Oh, yeah. Carry on.
Okay, well, I guess the big news is that earlier this year I was fused to an ostrich. I ran for Congress, lost twice, which was weird, and I was married to Jennifer Connelly for like 5 minutes, and then it was an all.
Wow. That had to be the best 5 minutes of anybody's life.
Oh man, I love
Yeah.
it.
It would be the best 5 minutes of mine. I know that.
The patch would have only lasted 30 seconds with me, though. That's the trouble.
So no. Where would you like me to start? Really?
Well, remember, Cash is seeing Jennifer Lopez since she left Ben Affleck.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because, the chin, she thought his chin was most impressive.
Dude, do you know anybody dating Jennifer Lopez? Oh, oh man.
Yeah, you're perfect. You're perfect for it, man. You're perfect.
As far
Remember the magic word, penicillin.
As far as where we'd like to start, well, tell us how things have been going as a whole for the channel.
Well, things have been progressing well, especially in the last month. I was lamenting earlier in the year about reaching 3,000 subs before the end of the year. Now I'm like 120 or so away from 5,000. So I got this nice little bump up. Lots of new subscribers, lots of new, I've got some new channel members as well, including Space Fraggle, who's in the chat with us.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
things have been moving up. I got a new show. I have a show called Live from Sparkwood 21, which is a retrospective of the Twin Peaks television series, and Hello to Big Al, and all of the kind of multimedia that surrounded that program. And that show's doing very well. It's on Tuesday nights at 8:30, and I co-host that with Troy Pacelli, Netters Network, and Aged Boomer. I have another new show called the Mystery Movie Night Podcast that I do with Sins Corner, Off the Cover, and Kyle Corwith. And we review the mystery movies. Rather, you're at the Regal, which is the mystery. At the Regal, they call it the Mystery Movie Night. AMC calls it Seen Unseen, I believe, or something like that. So we do that. That's usually the Tuesday night after the film, and we're going to be doing one next week as well. So yeah, my show Unscripted continues, which is kind of my weekly chance to rant and get some things off my chest. It's not always a rant, it's not always vitriolic, but sometimes I'll go there. And I have another show. It's called The Other Side of Midnight, which you've all appeared on previously earlier in the year, and that's kind of been put on hiatus for a little while. But I might be bringing that back like either later on in the month or possibly in January. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing well. I do guest appearances like this one. I'm also I co-host with Outlaw Bill a couple of his shows, Action Theater, which I'm going to be doing tomorrow, and Western Cinema Presents. And I've been busy. I've been busy. But and I'm going to be, and you have Big Al Presents in the chat. I'm going to be doing his show on Friday.
Nice.
Films with Friends. We're going to be watching the original 1951 version of The Thing. So really looking forward to that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So, Baron, go ahead and ask a question.
Yeah, Baron. Make yourself useful again.
Mike, I found it. I
had a feeling. That's why I went to you. I had a feeling.
Well, I just found it when you said that. It's like, whoa, perfect timing, girls and boys. Hi, I'm back here. Remember when you were last done, we were talking a little bit about, David Lynch, doing certain things with his, Twin Peaks, a lot of his other works. So, of course, Dune. Well, I don't know. I don't think the magazine's around anymore. This is issue number 51. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but this was a David Lynch fan club magazine wrapped in plastic. And back in 2000, when Dune, the miniseries, came out on Sci-Fi, they decided to do an issue kind of devoted to Dune. And there's a couple other things, and you're like, guy and his girlfriend, typical Lynch fashion. But yeah, I don't know if you were familiar with it, but yeah, it's heavily basically there's a lot of talking about between the two of them. So you'll have artwork and perspectives between the miniseries and Lynch's.
Ooh, that is awesome, dude.
Yeah. I remember picking up. It's like, well, I never heard of this magazine, don't know anything about it, but yeah, there we go. And I thought about it after you were last on, and now when you're coming on here, it's like, well, I want to show this to you, but I couldn't find it. It's like, well, okay, which shelf is this on? I thought I'd share it with you. Maybe Knitter and all of them over there might know the name or know of this magazine. Wrapped in plastic.
Now that you mentioned it, I do remember it vaguely. Unfortunately, I don't have any issues of them myself that I recall, unless I have them, in a box upstairs somewhere, which is also possible. But
right.
Yeah, wow, that's a blast from the past. That title, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't even know what you mean when they talk about wrapped in plastic, but I figure you would. And they even have an interview with Everett McGill in there, who played Stilgar in the movie. So you can see. So yeah, they're doing a nice little job of tying both of them in, because obviously both were great phenomenons, one more accepted than the other at the time. But Frank Herbert and a young lad there that we might be familiar with.
Yes. Kyle MacLachlan, yeah.
Yep.
As Paul Atreides.
Yeah. I always thought that he would have been a great Data. I really do. I've seen that one. I can't remember the name of the movie, but basically he's an alien disguised in a human trying to get, find a bad guy alien. And of course, he's not supposed to be acting rather human. So he's almost like Data. It's like, damn, if they couldn't get Brent Spiner, they should get him.
The Hidden, which was
The Hidden. Thank you so much.
1980, was it 87 or was it later?
Yeah, I was thinking 86, 87, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was like 80. It had to have been at least 87.
Hmm.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, they didn't. I'm glad people have better brains than me. As for the date, I just remember that if it was 87, it was like and good old Claudia Christian was in there too.
Indeed, she was. Yes.
Yeah, she was a lady of the evening, don't you know? 87. Yep, 87. Because that was my 1 year of really going out and wild movie going to movies with a friend of mine. So yeah, good film. Good. If people haven't seen it, they should. It's a good movie.
And speaking
all
of
I had.
movies,
Mhm.
are there any movies that you've seen since the last time you were on that you can recommend to everybody?
Not many.
Right.
It's
Don't blame ya.
it's been a kind of a lean year.
Mhm.
There's been a lot of these what I refer to as remakes. These are
Yeah.
remakes that are kind of remakes in the sequel skin suits. There's a lot of politics in movies that just
Yes.
really getting under my skin. But there've been a few. There's a movie called Sing Sing
Mm-hmm.
with Coleman Domingo from Fear the Walking Dead. That is an excellent film. It's based on a true story about this basically this theater group that forms inside of a prison and how this helps the prisoners to kind of, if not necessarily reform, because a lot of them are lifers, so some of them are not getting out. But it kind of gives them this purpose, and Coleman Domingo takes one of the prisoners under his wing, so to speak, and this guy kind of finds a self-respect for himself that he didn't have in the beginning, and decides to kind of reform and change his ways. And it's an interesting film. That was really good. I really like Late Night with the Devil.
I want to look that up.
Yeah. On
Yeah, he's a quality actor, though.
yeah.
I haven't heard the name Sing Sing in a long time. Usually it was in the Warner Brothers cartoon.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. They've always heard
No,
about Sing Sing.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there unfortunately hasn't been too much out there. I mean, there'll be certain movies like I think Wicked will obviously make a lot of money, but even that has dropped a little bit, I would say. But it may make over $1 billion. We'll see. Of course, I would still tell people that it's been out a while. What is it, like summer? But Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't know if you saw that one deleted, but it was enjoyable. I liked it
did.
better than two. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What were you saying, Baron?
Why? I was going to say, I hear that Joker movie's rather good.
Ah,
Catch two.
no,
No, Bear. No.
no, but dang it, Baron, no. That movie is an absolute abomination.
Sometimes, and I'm not someone who goes seeking out bad movies.
No,
if enough
nobody
if enough
should.
people, no, I mean, if enough people that I trust, whose opinions I trust, say, "Hey, the movie's bad," I stay away from it. But sometimes I'll see it just out of curiosity or for review purposes. The movie that we saw last night for a mystery movie night is not a movie I would have gone to see had it not been on the mystery movie night.
Yeah.
Sadly, I did see it, and it was a huge steaming pile of monkey crap. You never, it's a very awful box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Ew, but it smells and it's got steam coming off of it. What is that? It's like for every American Fiction, I get like and It's a Wonderful Knife or something like that.
Oh,
That's
man.
just doesn't do
Mhm.
anything for me.
Hmm.
But it's good movies are out there, and you
Yeah,
do
of
have
course.
to seek them out. One really good place to find good movies, if you like horror films, is on Shudder. They have a great
Yes,
selection of films on there,
yes,
especially
Okay.
Mhm.
especially a lot of the newer stuff is pretty good. There's a movie called Oddity
Hmm.
that I saw on Shudder like a couple of months ago. That's very good. Um, I liked Long Legs. I know some people didn't, but I did. I dug it. Fraggle's asking, how does the panel feel about Alien Romulus? That's a super chat for $5. Thank you, Fraggle.
I have
I
not watched it yet. I'm going to with a friend of mine, but I haven't watched it yet, so I don't have an opinion yet on it.
I have seen it twice now.
Hmm.
Okay.
And I went back and I watched it the second time because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss something.
Sure.
And one of the reasons that was because they put a lot of expository dialogue into the mouth of this kid who speaks with this really heavy kind of Cockney accent. And I could not understand a damn word the kid said through the whole movie. I swear, I do not know what this kid said at all. It's like I need subtitles for him because it was like it was like, oh, it's a okay, we're gonna fucking shot right today, right? I hate robots, right? And I was like, huh? you know.
Hmm.
But as for the movie itself, I thought it was the greatest hits album of the other films,
Yep.
Now I know what's happening.
and
Wrong, but
it
you
didn't do
found the
anything
one
for me.
true horror aspect of that film. It's Cockneys in space. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could say from my experience, having only watched it once, it was good up until the middle when you start noticing things that you saw in Aliens, Aliens 3, and Aliens Resurrection creep up in this movie.
Yeah. And when the black goo stuff from Prometheus shows up, I was just like, oh no. No. Oh, we're going here with this, And yeah. It and I wanted to like it because I love the Alien movies. And I'm like,
Mhm.
when I'm even an apologist for 3, and nobody likes 3.
Well, I
You
mean,
know?
I still don't think Prometheus is a bad movie deleted, but I think it's a movie that you can take it or leave it. I
yeah.
mean, when I saw it in the theater, I was like, yeah, this is not bad, but would I watch it again? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'd
Yeah,
rather watch Alien and Aliens again about
Yeah.
1,000 times.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's one of those it's one of those franchises where they should have stopped too. The story's been told.
Mhm.
Move on.
Right.
Now
Well,
I
you know what
mean,
they call it. Aliens is also subtitled Cash Money's Family Reunion, but that's back.
That would be weird.
Well, it's like what makes Aliens for me, especially after seeing Romulus, is of course Alien, then Aliens, and then now since I've been playing it, Alien Isolation.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that needs to fit into the. If they do a sequel as good as the first game, then they'll have another win. So, yeah. Well, it's just like the Ghostbusters game. I mean, I was talking to Spock yesterday, and he was telling me, that he likes that even better than Afterlife and Frozen Empire. And I'm like, well, I can't blame you.
Mm-hmm.
He says the story's better. I agree, but I haven't
Yep.
seen Frozen Empire yet. But
Well, Afterlife was pretty dang good, I thought. what it was.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I can see some people. Spock had an interesting take about the whole Egon thing. Like, did they need to go in that direction with him? I'm like, well, he says, wouldn't it be more like Bill Murray's character would go in that direction? I said, yeah. I mean, I can see where you're coming from. So you know,
he's
some
gonna
people.
thank Sigourney Weaver, and there we got our alien connection.
Right.
Mhm.
That's right. Yeah. So. Oh man.
But yeah, the Ghostbusters game is. I think that should be officially official.
It should. It should.
Yep. Yep. And you know, with that particular game, especially the one from 2009, that to me is the definitive third movie because it does have Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, and Bill Murray. So you have them all in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's.
Did they ever make a game off 2016?
I can look that up real quick just to find out. I don't
think
recall they did, but
I hope not.
Sure.
I'm looking.
No. No, you got it the opposite way, Jace. I was right and Baron was wrong.
Look at what you wrote there, buddy. Were
yeah,
you
I did not.
rooms?
Somebody changed that, man. Mm-hmm.
Not me.
Oh man, I think Jace changed it. It's funny I didn't notice that sooner. That's funny though.
I wasn't going to say anything. I was basking the light.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, they did. Activision came out with a Ghostbusters game based on the 2016 film.
And it got buried right next to the ET games. Okay.
But it's still funny either way. Yeah. Oh, the buried with the ET game, yes. In the landfill.
Yeah. You got it.
I'll go in and bring that up where I found that information real quick. Or at least as quickly as I can bring it back up.
Yeah. I know you did it, Jace. It's funny I didn't pay close enough attention to it. That's hilarious, but it still makes me laugh either way. But yeah, what about is there any new TV series that you found deleted that you've been enjoying?
Well, I don't really watch a lot of series. I find myself getting halfway through a season and then just not going back to it. That doesn't have anything to do with quality. I run out of time. I got 5 episodes into Terminal List.
Okay.
And I think I got like about 5 or 6 episodes into Tulsa King, and I never went back. But I'd like to. I'd like to catch up on Yellowstone.
Yeah. Yes, Yellowstone. My brother and dad are still watching Yellowstone. Yeah, I've watched some of it too. It's like, dang, the writing in this show is so fucking good. It just is. Yeah.
I'm curious about this Alex Cross series they have on now on Amazon, and see where they go with that. Because that character has quite a rogues gallery of villains to deal with. And I'm also, because I mean, if you do like they do with the Reacher series and just like adapt.
I still got to see season 2, man. I like season 1. I still got to watch season 2. But
and again, Reacher's one of the ones that I didn't finish. That was
okay. See, I'm finished
kind of for a couple of other reasons, but if they do with Cross like they do with Reacher and just like adapt like a book per season, you've got plenty of material there, because James Patterson puts out like 6 books a year, it seems like, if not more. And he has a new Cross book out this week, I think. and then of course you have Aldous Hodge, who was a Hardison on Leverage playing Cross. He is somebody who can play the character and do it justice, and he can also age into the part as well, because he is as old now in actual life as the character was at the beginning of the books. So, so you have that attached to it, so it's that I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know if anybody is watching it, but that's one I'm curious about, and hopefully I'll have some time to sit down and watch that. And people suggest things to me all the time. I've had a number of people try and talk me into watching the Andor series. But I'm like,
I'll say this, Deleted, that it's nice that there's actually a Star Wars series out there that has a more mature tone to it, more serious tone, like the first 2 seasons of Mando. But still, where Star Wars is now, Disney Star Wars, whatever you want to call it, I say take it or leave it. If there really wasn't a season 2 of Andor, I would just like, whatever. Doesn't matter. I mean, I watch all of Ahsoka, which turned into a Joka, and the only reason I feel that way, it's like they had this whole build-up with Rebels Deleted, and then they just went in this direction. Not good. Not good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, when it comes to current events, what do you want to say about it?
Well, I hopefully we're making a change for the better. I'll put it that way, and we'll maybe put a stop to some of this foolishness we've had to deal with over the last few years, and that maybe some people who are in some places that they shouldn't be will be returned home. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
But yeah, I see some positive things ahead, but there could still be some roadblocks, and we need to be vigilant. But
yes.
I think we are heading into the the right direction with the upcoming administration. To me, I looked at it this way. When the people who are in the place of authority start sounding like schoolyard bullies,
yes,
that's not going to bring me over to their side.
No, man, it's not.
And I was hearing a lot of the same language coming out of certain places like Hollywood and from the mainstream news media, was reminding me of things that had been said to me by bullies on the schoolyard.
Right.
And it was a lot of, it was the same verbiage and some of the same word and the same buzzwords. And I'm like, if you're going to come at me with this 40-year-old crap, you are not going to bring me over to your side. So it's like, I felt the choice was simple and I did what I had to do.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll see.
You get more flies with honey than with a pile of shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, even the summer movies now, it's just like, is there a lot to see? Sometimes there's things, this looks pretty good, but even Gladiator 2 and some of this other stuff, I'm just always confused. And when, of course, they start talking about politics, like Ridley Scott had to open up his mouth about politics to lead it. It was like, come on, really? Not this again. Can even you, man, you have to say something about this too? Like, can't you guys just shut the hell up? And it's like, people, of course, will argue to lead. Well, they have a right to say what they want. Fine. And we have the right
Sure.
to not
Yeah.
go to their movies. And we have a right not to pay for their tickets. And we have a right to do this as well. So we can play those games all the time, but
Yeah.
it doesn't solve anything.
You know, when I review a film, number one, I don't tell anybody don't go see a movie.
Exactly.
You know,
Right.
you know,
I agree.
because people have come back to me going, "Hey, I went and I watched it despite what you said because I wanted to form my own opinion." And I
Sure.
go, "That's
Mhm.
perfectly fine. That's great. I encourage that." You know, in fact, if you think I'm wrong on a movie, tell me, as long as it's constructive and not just, "Oh, you suck," let me know, but,
Yes.
I never tell anybody not to go see a movie,
No,
but at the
I
at the
don't.
same time, when you
Right.
get like the film that we had last night, which was this movie, The Order, that Jude Law and Nicholas Hoult are in.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And this movie that is basically TDS the movie,
Hmm.
you know, and written by the same guy who did the Crow remake. So make of that what you want. But I am at a point to where if I see a movie and I feel this you don't have to run to the theaters to see this, which is most movies now. I
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
I just tell people to wait because it's going to be on streaming in a fortnight.
Right. It will. That's true.
True. A
Which is
month later, it's available on streaming
Yeah.
services, and
yeah,
you could either pay the full price for it to watch it, or you can wait till it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD, where they
Mhm.
lower the price and then rent it
I'm sure.
at a much cheaper price.
Oh yeah, but I've kind of had to change the way that I look at movies, because I have sworn up and down that what makes a good movie for me has never changed. That's not entirely true. It kind of has. Because there are the movies that I think are worthy of going to see, into theaters. Sing Sing, the movie I brought up earlier, is a movie worth seeing in theaters. Late Night with the Devil was worth seeing in theaters. There's a movie called The Bike Riders that I really liked. That's
Yes,
worth seeing in
excellent movie.
theaters. Then you have the real rarefied air, which is the movie that has the rewatchability factor, which is something like, and when I talk about that, it's something like a Top Gun Maverick, where I can sit down and watch that movie right now. I'm not going to. I'm doing the show, but that's a movie I can sit down and watch right now and have, and
Yeah. It's
it'll
a
be
sequel
like,
that.
yeah,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's like a sequel that actually works.
It
Mhm.
does very
Yeah,
well. Actually, yes.
you know,
Because
and
I'll admit, when I heard
that's how
news
you do
that they were
shit
gonna
right.
when they were gonna make Maverick, I was thinking
Mhm.
we don't need a Top Gun sequel.
Yeah, I
The
felt the
first one's
same
perfect
way.
on its
Yeah,
own.
so was I.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they got it right.
Yeah, they did.
And then you after that you get down to the movies that are just, in my opinion, worth a rental. But I kind of qualify that now. And I used to be on this app called Stardust.
Mhm.
And before it kind of took this very serious left turn into the woke, and there was a guy I was following on there who he had what he called beer and pizza movies. A movie where you could sit down on a Saturday night, have a pizza and a beer and watch it and be entertained. You know, which was actually, I like the idea of that. And hello to Tim, FK8C 2005.
What's up, Tim?
Yeah.
And so that's what I would consider now a rental, you know, which is like these pizza and beer movies, which oftentimes for me are like these kind of straight to streaming films. When you start to get into stuff like Arcadian with Nick Cage, or Chief of Station, which was this spy movie that has Aaron Eckhart in it. This is going to make you laugh. But I actually recommended an Asylum film.
They got some good films.
And they had they had one this year that was like total crap, but they had one that was really good. That to me fit into that pizza and beer category, and that was a movie called Monster Mash, where Dr. Frankenstein has the monster kidnap Dracula's daughter for reasons that you find out throughout the film. And so Dracula basically assembles his own monster squad. He goes and he gets, the old Universal monsters. He bands them together. Invisible Man, Wolfman, the Mummy, and they go after Dr. Frankenstein to get his daughter back. So the fun part of it is Dr. Frankenstein is played by Michael Madsen. And you can tell it's one of those movies where he's probably there for 2 days. He's kind of, I'm Dr. Victor Frankenstein, and you're my prisoner now. It's kind of like that. Hey, get in here, you dumb monster. It's kind of like that.
Yeah,
But,
you
you're making this up as he goes along.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can always tell when Michael Madsen's phoning it in.
Yeah, but in this it doesn't matter. It's just fun.
Yeah.
But and of course, they put in, they needed a name for the movie, and it was either going to be him or Eric Roberts, let's be honest. But but it was still this movie that I actually got a bit of a kick out of. It was fun, and it's weird that I had to go to an Asylum movie to find a fun movie. But so that's what I call kind of like the pizza and beer kind of movies. You can just check your brain at the door, sit down, have fun. Usually about an hour and a half, and just sit down and watch a movie. And then that's kind of my cutoff point. From there on up, those are what I consider to be, the movies I would recommend. But now that we don't go to the theaters as much, the Talking Cat movie, oh God, oh man, this guy was an Oscar-nominated actor, and now you got him in a movie where he's doing the voice of a talking cat. Why? Anyway, well, whatever. It's money. Whatever. You're working.
Money.
And so now after the the virus of unknown origins, we
Mine came with the fortune cookie.
Yeah, we were placed under involuntary house arrest for 2 years. we learned how to, and the theaters were closed, so
Yeah.
we got used to streaming
Mhm.
or watching movies online, or as we say here, riding the high seas, argumenties,
Ah.
arg, yeah, the castle arg, no, but so it's like I had to, I kind of had to change my way of thinking when it comes to reviewing a film, because what's the point of saying wait and watch this movie on streaming when every movie was streaming?
Mhm.
So I kind of got to the
Yeah.
point where I had to qualify it, and there's sort of like kind of a gray area now where, okay, you can it kind of ride the movies to kind of ride that line between, rent it, to, just wait for streaming, or just kind of ride the high seas to watch it. But the thing is that's so many movies now.
So many movies, it's hard to keep track of them
Well,
all once
well-
they all get released. And
Well, that's the good thing about having Letterboxd or Criticless, and I'm on both of those sites now, and because they, you are able to put everything that you see, into a list, and and you can change that list, if you so choose, so, which I am just forever doing, because there are, movies that I find that resonate with me more than others, and then, like I said, you get this kind of weird netherworld of movies, and I kind of put Gladiator 2 into that category. I don't
Do
know
you
if,
feel though?
if you've seen it or not. Yeah.
I have
I-
no desire to see it, to be
I
honest.
don't know if I
No,
want to
they
watch
just-
it or not, but so you watched it then deleted?
I did see it. Yeah. It
Did
was,
you think it was good
no.
at all?
I was gonna
You
say,
just
can you hear the pain in his voice, Cash?
not
I
enough
can hear the
pain.
pain.
Well,
Yeah, I can hear some of it, but
here's the thing.
Mhm. Did you like Denzel at least? Like, was there some things you did like about the movie, or did you just pretty much hate the film?
Well, that's what I mean. Is it as good as the original movie? Hell no,
doubt
not even
it.
close.
No way, man. The original's amazing. I'm sure that it can't even touch it. But
In
Mhm.
story wise, it is beat by beat by beat by beat the first movie over again.
Of course.
Ah.
Well, that's nothing. Okay. Well,
But
yeah.
the point where I realized what kind of a movie I was watching was the first battle scene. Not the first battle scene of the movie, but the first battle scene inside of the arena.
hmm
They fight baboons.
hmm
CGI mutant looking baboons.
Wow.
Seems like an odd choice.
Did you
And-
also delete it when Denzel came onto the screen? Did you always want to say "my man" every time?
Well, his
Yeah.
his performance in that movie is weird, because I can get why people like him. I get why people maybe might not like his performance, I think
Mhm.
he's the one person in the whole movie who realizes what kind of a movie he's in,
Right.
and he plays along with it. When like I said, when I got to the scene with the baboons, and I realized, oh my God, I'm watching the Asylum's Gladiator to A New Hope Awakens, which is what I call the movie. Um,
Yeah.
once I realized that, okay, I can sit back. This movie's gonna tank. I'm gonna sit back, watch it for the pure bat shittiness, insanity of it, you know.
Mhm.
And I think, I think the movie was made for the sole purpose of Ridley Scott and Denzel Washington getting to hang out together and drink wine and smoke cigars in Italy. That was it.
Maybe
That was
so.
let's
Did you
go to
like
Italy and
so
hang out for a couple of months. That's
are
the
there
reason the
s-
movie got made.
are there some characters or performances that you actually did enjoy about anything in this movie, or
I think the
Well, I
long
tell
pause
you,
has changed her.
here's something that will surprise you. Pedro Pascal did not annoy me.
Mhm. Yeah, he can be good in certain things. It's
He can
just
be good in certain things, and I
Mhm.
I, I think whether or not you think the acting in the movie is good or not, and I can understand either or, um, is whether or not you think a certain actor can rise above the material they're given.
Mhm.
You know, um, and some of like I said, I think it's a matter of whether or not the specific actor knows what kind of a movie he's in or not. I am aware that I am in a mid sequel. Therefore, I will play it like I am in a mid sequel.
Mhm.
Then you have people in it who think they're doing a Shakespeare play, Shakespeare in the Park or something, and
Mhm.
then you have Paul Mescal, who's the lead in this, and he's kind of hobbled right away because he's not Russell Crowe. He's not on that level. So he comes off bland, and they write his character bland. You know,
Mhm.
it's like the direction he was given, and I'm not saying this is what happened, but it's like the direction he was given was be Maximus, but how you would have done it.
Mhm.
Russell Crowe won an Oscar. And
He did.
Paul
Yep.
Mescal got nominated for an Oscar a couple of years ago for a movie called After Sun. That was an independent film. I didn't see it. So obviously, he is someone who is capable. I mean, there is some talent there. I think they just put him in the wrong movie. He's
Mhm.
just he. You know, you have a lead character who's kind of literally disappearing into the background. You have Denzel basically being Denzel because he realizes, he knows what kind of a movie he's in an asylum film, um, and he's just hamming it up, and then you have, like I said, the other actors who are just on various levels. It's like they're all in a different movie.
Hmm.
You have Denzel and the two idiot twin emperors there. who are actually not twins, because in real life they were born like a couple of years apart. But in the movie, they're twins for some reason, because fuck history, I guess.
Oh, the first movie was that way too. So
Well,
Yeah,
I
true.
mean, there wasn't,
Yeah.
but there was still some.
It's
accuracy.
worse
I guess
here.
even
Well,
I guess Denzel's character is accurate to something that did happen in history. So there was a black.
so in the first
Yeah,
film,
that-
those
right,
were
we did find that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But so you have actors who are playing it over the top. You have actors who are undercooking it. And it's these weird little tonal shifts, and it doesn't quite work, and that's the thing, and it's too bad. It's not very well written, and I don't know if anybody could have saved it, to be honest. It's not it's not going to be on my 10 worst at the end of the year or anything, but
I'm sure.
I am far from recommending it,
Mm-hmm.
avoid it.
Now,
No.
there is a movie I actually did want to ask you about, if you had any interest in seeing it, because it sounds like it might be a real good movie, but maybe it's not a movie for everybody. And that's Bonhoeffer, Pastor, Spy, Assassin.
I'm curious about it, because I've heard mixed things. This is the new Angel Studios film.
Yes.
And
Right.
Their biggest success so far is Sound of Freedom. The problem there is they didn't make Sound of Freedom. It had already been made. They just distributed it. So now you have in Bonhoeffer, a film that they made themselves. And Angel Studios has been a little kind of hit and miss when it comes to their own original content. I don't want to say content, but I'm going to say content for the sake of argument. And I've been hearing mixed things about Bonhoeffer. I haven't seen it yet. I think it starts in my area next week, so I might get a chance to kind of stop by and go and see it. I'm curious about it. I'm willing to give it a chance.
Right.
I haven't seen it. I know a little bit when it comes to the original story, but to the real life, because he was a true life individual. But yeah, I'm curious. I haven't seen it. I've heard mixed things. That just I haven't seen it. I don't have an opinion on it, sadly.
No worries there.
I'm worrying.
So, one of the things I wanted to ask you when you were on today was, of course, like all of us, you pay attention to what's going on in pop culture and entertainment. And I was wondering if you saw the trailer that Disney released for Snow White.
I didn't even want to bring that up.
I have. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I haven't.
My brother was like, "What is this?" Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not Snow White. I tell you that. And anybody who goes into this movie expecting this to be a straight up live action adaptation of the original animated film, yeah, you're going to be out of luck, because that's not going to be this movie, bruv. Now she's leading these CGI characters into a revolt against the queen, I guess, and we got to go save the prince because he's an idiot. So,
Well, that's why it was
Yeah.
so funny when Peter Dinkelberry came out. It's like, what are you talking about, man? Like, what do you mean you're taking jobs away from little people? You know, I don't. This is ridiculous. What you're saying, man. What are you doing? You're a little person yourself, Peter Dinkelberry.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't help calling him that, but it's just
who
Ding, ding, ding,
you
ding,
know
ding, ding,
who
ding,
gave him the right to decide?
exactly who gave him the right.
You know,
Ridiculous. There
the-
shouldn't
the-
be any CGI dwarves. They should all be
No.
just little people. It just makes sense
And-
for a live action. I'm sure on stage they've done it with that. Okay.
sure, you know,
ding.
non-specific vertically challenged creatures. Yeah, yeah. Um, you know, it's. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing at Disney.
I don't always know, man. It's like they have two big successes. Yes, that's more with Ryan Reynolds and Pixar, but still,
Yeah.
they both made over $1 billion worldwide. It's like, then why don't you just keep going in this direction?
Yeah.
So they, Moana 2, fine. And I know they're going to do a live action one of that as well, of course. But The Lion King, I mean, that one I guess might make money, but it's just too much CGI and we don't need it. And they want to change Scar and they want to change these things. It's like, no, man, this doesn't make sense. But we're going to do it anyways. Okay. So when people reject it, don't get mad. But
you know, all they got to do, and
Right.
this is very simple. Do an original mid-budgeted movie. Do an animated film.
Yeah.
Do a live action film, and not
Right.
a live action film that is a remake of something you've already done. I am
Exactly.
talking about do like a present day to Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. I'm not saying remake that film. I'm saying do something like it. Do something like you did in the old days when it worked. Bring back the TV movies again.
All right.
And do
Yeah,
it
right.
in the
Why
old
not?
style. The Wonderful World of
Why
Disney.
not? Yes.
Go back and
that
do
was
that
great.
again.
That
You
was
know,
great,
every
man.
Sunday.
Yes.
Let's watch the
Bring
new
that back.
Disney film. Bring
That's
that
right.
back.
Bring it back. Bring it back the
Mhm.
way it's supposed to be. That's right.
You know,
But-
do
But then you have to
what
put behind
you're
the
doing.
paywall.
No.
Yes.
You don't need a paywall. You know,
No.
look,
I know
Just
you
put it
don't.
on
But that's their
ABC. I
mentality.
know, but
That's
they
their
would.
mentality.
Yes, they would make it a paywall
They-
wall.
no,
Yeah.
they need to drop that
Yeah.
mentality. They need to go
Yes.
back.
Yeah, put it on ABC.
very-
They
I
need to go
thought
back
for-
to
what you were
basics. Is what
doing.
they need to do.
Go back to basics. That's what I mean exactly. Go back to
I
basics.
mean, they have some stuff of Wonderful World of Disney, but they don't have like it was every Sunday in the 90s and even before that.
Oh yeah.
It was great. People would love that if Disney did that again. Love it. But like Baron said, they would have to put it behind a paywall. There's no way they would just put it on ABC.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Again.
yeah. Even though they own the network and it only helps them.
Exactly.
You know,
That's
They-
right.
You
Oh,
got
they
your
would.
own television network. Go use it.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And they really did shoot themselves in the foot with that writer's strike.
Yes.
Is they think
Yes,
they won.
they did.
They think they won. They won nothing.
That's all they
Yeah.
did was just bring in more a lot of reality show. Some of them are okay, some of them are there's been some however you feel about Trump or whatever, The Apprentice was entertaining. There were some reality shows, but once again, those writer strikes, the network said, okay, screw you writers, we're just going to make this stuff and we're going to make more of it and more of it and more of it.
It's
So it
not
blew up
just
in their
that,
face.
Cash.
No, I
It's
know
the
it's
fact that you had the writers going on strike, the actors going on strike, and people
Yes.
said, "All right, fine, I'm
That's
done
right.
with you. I'm going to
They
go find
did.
something else to do."
Exactly.
Yeah, no one had sympathy.
No.
You know,
And,
but
you know-
that's what. But that overall is what I think they need to do, is they need to get out. They need to change their whole way of thinking. You know,
Yes.
it's like you not only have these people who have this woke mind virus, it's almost like there's like this business mind virus. When you are surrounded by these yes men, when you come to believe that what you read on Twitter is what everybody thinks, and there's not as many people on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. There's not as many people on there as you think. There never has been. And now that all of the bot accounts are gone, or at least most of them anyway, you start to realize just how few people are actually on that app. So you can't go by that. You can't go by what the mainstream press is saying, because they're in the same bubble that you are. You got to think out of the box now. You can't spend 300 or 400 movies reshooting a movie over and over again just because one person in a test audience doesn't like that Anthony Mackie's wearing red socks. You gotta get yourself out of that mindset. Smaller budgeted movies. Get yourself, bring the Imagineers back that you chased off. Get some, get yourself, a room full of John Lasseters, and sit down and hash this out.
Yeah, get somebody closer to him. Yeah,
but they,
agree.
But they,
it's affecting Disney when it comes to their television shows or movies. It's affecting them at the parks because they don't have Imagineers like James Brody there anymore creating ideas, and it's trickling down to the rest of Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time we had a quality Muppets movie? Gosh, I can't. What was it? It's been 8 years, 10 years? I can't remember the last one. I think it was
close to 10 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, really? I mean, and they had some good things going for them. They had the actors. They had the Muppets were still the Muppets, but then they get rid of people like Frank Oz, as we, talked about recently in an article. It's like, no, guys, you need to bring these people back, give them money, and let them do their stuff, and just back off. Let them do their magic, and it's just, that'll bring you even more money. What, don't you guys want money? It doesn't always seem like they do. They do and they don't. And it's not just Disney. I agree, Deleted. It's a lot of companies.
But the problem is that they have so doubled, tripled, and quadrupled down on their rhetoric that if they turn back on that now, then they come off looking foolish. And now you have this circular firing squad situation that you have going on now, where they're eating each other. They're they're blaming The View for this. They're blaming George Clooney for that. And I'm standing back going, hey, you did this to yourselves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have their own problems as well. Like, they just stop lying to people. Just, these shows were started a different way, and then what they changed into, and all the lies, and even people threatening violence, unfortunately. Like, there's no excuse for that. And if shows are going to keep doing that, it's like, well, then maybe they need to actually finally go off the air. There should be no show out there promoting violence and threatening people, Deleted, and all this other nonsense. These lectures that it's ridiculous. And if you don't agree with it, then it gives them the right to call you all these names. But it's crazy. It's just like when people tell me, oh, James Gunn is the future of DC. Oh, he's going to do great things. Look at what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. Once again, that's a different beast. So what he's done so far, and we've talked about this on other channels and other places, that it's like, dude, you need to understand, like, if you're going to reject stuff like 89 in 1989 Batman or 89 Batman, that's a problem. If you're going to tell people that you support the Flash movie, how much of a disaster that was, that's a problem. So how do we trust you? So we're supposed to trust him with the Superman film. We're supposed to trust him with these films. And he even, however I feel about the second Suicide Squad, I just think there were missed opportunities in that movie, even though it made a lot of money deleted. So
Yeah. And
Mhm.
and I thought it was fine. Is it perfect? I'm sure it
Mhm.
isn't. But you know,
Right.
um, yeah. But with me, comic book movies are a different story
They are, yeah.
because I'm not versed in comic books in the same way that I am. I mean, I read them, but I tend, when it comes to comics, to gravitate more towards the independents,
Uh-huh.
and independent comics, they're not going to come up with a title that they're still doing 50, 60 years later, like they are with Batman and Superman and those.
Mhm.
They go, a certain number of issues and then the story's over. And that's what I tend to gravitate to. So you can easily adapt something like that. But when you go into a comic book film, and I'll give you a recent example. Let's say Madam Web.
Mhm.
I know nothing about the characters in that film. So I don't know, I can watch a Madam Web and go, okay, I don't know the character from the comics, but I have enough sense to know that this cannot be it.
Right. Well, I mean, Madam Web was supposed to be this, older lady. I know this is
Sure.
like her origins, but she's an older lady who's helping Spider-Man and she can see the future. At least
Yeah.
that's what I remember from the animated show in the 90s.
And don't worry, a lot of people in the comic, even Marvel fans, don't know much about the characters. So
I'm
don't
sure.
feel left out.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
serious.
Because
I'm really serious.
No, I
Yeah.
believe you.
But the point is that I am not as versed in all of the lore. So
Right.
when it comes to comic book films, hey, tell me all of the Easter eggs and everything that I'm missing, because I'm sure I'm missing a lot. And I get it. A lot of these movies are not comic accurate,
No,
unless you
that's okay.
unless you bring in, like they did with the Hellboy movie this year. They actually had Mike Mignola come in and write the damn movie.
Yeah, he did.
Mhm.
That's true. I
And
heard some
it's
good things
actually a
about
good
it.
movie. It's a solid movie. So I can tell that was made with more respect than Madam Web was. On the other hand, I don't know all of the ins and outs. I have to go by the film that I'm seeing on screen,
Mhm.
and I have to love it or hate it on its merits, which is why I tend to look at comic book movies or superhero movies, whatever, as action films,
Right.
which is not what they are. But I kind of have to look at them on that basis. Like, my favorite Marvel film is Winter Soldier.
It's a great movie, man.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier. But my entryway into that film is not the comic books. It's not the
Right.
Winter Soldier character from the comics. It's not Cap
Right.
from the comics.
Mhm.
I look at it as, this is an espionage film.
Yeah. You can look at it that way.
This is 3 Days of the Condor with Captain America. That actually just happens to fucking have 3 Days of the Condor actually in the film, with Robert Redford, which adds that
Yes.
whole kind of meta twist to it. And
It
not
does.
only that, make him the villain, which
I
is
know.
interesting.
It
You
is.
know, and I just dug the hell out of that movie. Now, is there any storyline from the comics that's exactly like that movie? I doubt it.
Probably not, but to an
But I
extent there
can,
is.
yeah, you know, but I can take it for what it is. You know, hey, they got this wrong. They got that wrong. That's correct. That's not. No, Crossbones wouldn't do that. Well, he's technically not Crossbones yet in the film, but you know, which is another mistake I think that they did make is, you know, I know enough to know who Crossbones is. And then they make Frank Grillo Crossbones for 5 minutes in a movie.
Hmm.
Okay. You know, so, you know, I get that there are inaccuracies. I get that there are all of these Easter eggs that I'm missing because I am not aware of all of the lore.
Yeah, which
But
is fine, man. Mhm.
you know, but I can either enjoy a movie or not enjoy it for other reasons. You know, there is still enough of a movie there in Winter Soldier for me to like it. There is
Yeah.
not enough of a movie there in Madam Web for me to not like it because it's barely a movie. You know, nothing happens for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I just
You know,
I can't push
it's,
myself to watch it, but
you
I
know,
found her
you-
character,
go ahead.
at least
Go
the
ahead.
older version of her, that pretty interesting with this whole thing of the Spider-Man, and you know, I don't. Other than that, I didn't really know. I'm like, you know, the character's pretty interesting. And it's like, but people were asking the question when the trailer started coming out: do we actually need an origin story of Madam Web? People were just scratching their head. It's like,
No.
this seems odd.
The
And
thing is,
you know,
Cash, we don't need an origin story for every single character that's
no, we
out
don't.
there.
I mean, they need to be really interesting. They just,
Mhm.
if the character isn't already that interesting in the comics and people don't really gravitate, it's probably not the best idea to do a movie about it.
Mhm.
And I know they're trying to connect it with Spider-Man, of course, and so on, but it just it bombed, of course, so it just wasn't a good idea.
You know, because you know, okay, I'll go back to the story the comic that introduced Batman. You don't get his whole backstory.
Right.
You know, you catch him mid-mission. You know, and he takes on these gangsters and he saves, you know, I am the knight. You know, he saves the night. And you know, he talks to Commissioner Gordon the next day and you know, that Batman fella is whatever, like to shake his hand or whatever, you know. You know, you'll catch up with him someday, Commissioner, you know. Sure, he's closer than you think, you know, and you have a good laugh, and you know, that's it. But you don't need Batman's whole backstory to enjoy
No.
that comic.
No, you don't.
You know, and that's why you don't need to film Spider-Man's origin story a dozen times or Superman's origin story.
No, you
You
don't,
know,
man. No.
you know, one of the things that I wish they would do, you know, it is what Mr. H said about Blade. Do the raid with Blade.
Hmm.
Have him, you know, attack some bad guy's fortress because maybe there's somebody who's being held hostage inside that he cares about, you know, and, you know, just have him kill vampires for an hour and a half, you know, the
Why
raid
not?
style,
Yeah.
and just going, why not? You know, Mad Max is the same thing, you know, it's not difficult to make that. You know, I said this on Twitter one time, and it got a good response. And I went like, you know, Mel Gibson, 90 minutes, rated R, no CGI.
Oh my goodness, dude. Yeah. I
Mhm.
think that would make a lot of money.
There you go.
Yeah, because I saw Furiosa this year.
I did too.
I didn't care for it. I didn't think it
No.
was a necessary film,
No.
but I would love to see another Mad Max film with Mel Gibson. One last film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be awesome. With no CGI, I agree. That's a great idea.
Go back to the basics.
Yes.
Do something that is a true capper to the trilogy. And I mean, it depends on if you like Thunderdome or not, but something that feels like it is a natural progression between the first film, The Road Warrior, and this. And I like Thunderdome, but Thunderdome doesn't fit.
You're right.
Absolutely right.
But
I think the same thing about Fury Road too. I mean,
Right.
And I liked Fury Road when it came out. I'll admit that. I dug the hell out of that movie. Is it can you look back on it now and see its faults? Yeah. Sure you can. And that's kind of the problem with me in movies now. I'm someone who used to love movies, but that new car shine is off of movies now.
Agreed.
We've gotten a look behind the curtain. And I don't like what I see.
Yeah.
No.
I look at it like this with current movies. They'll put a new coat of paint on the vehicle, but they're using a cheap coat of paint and it's starting to peel off.
Yeah, I mean, even in Furiosa deleted, they could have built the character a lot more. And it's like, look, if you're going to have a push for anything, I don't care minorities, I don't care females, whatever, you've got to once again build these characters more, make people care about this stuff more. And it seems like always beating a dead horse with that analogy, but really just do more of it. Look, I don't know if you ever watch Agent Carter or some of this other stuff, even Xena. There was so much buildup all the time with these characters. And why take that away? You guys want to push this, but you're not pushing that. And then you want to attack the audience, but a lot of people who don't like this stuff, it's like, once again, it doesn't matter if it's in sci-fi, it doesn't matter if it's fantasy, build these characters. Give people a reason and make sure that they have flaws, but give them a reason that makes sense, and how they build the relationships and all this stuff that we've had in the past. Deleted, but they don't care about this, and they still don't care enough. Sometimes, but not enough. And I'm hoping that moving into 2025, we're going to see actually finally more people said, look, I don't give a shit what people want to believe. I want to build these characters the way they're supposed to be built.
Yeah.
And follow a good formula. But I'm asking for too much.
And real quick, I just want to acknowledge Darkwoods Presents comment here. Well, the Mad Max video game actually hit a lot of marks for me. It was a really good game. And the open world was that world. It was really great. It was really great. Come on, Mike Reed. If even repetitive. Yeah, I played it this year myself, and I really enjoyed the game. Yeah. It's an excellent game.
And that's the other thing. Like, they could do, guys. They could take what they already did with this game and then build into a movie or a show or a TV movie or whatever, and they could just build from it. Like, there's all these things they can always build from, and they just instead, no, we're going to go in this direction. Okay, well, what if this fails? Are you going to learn anything from it, or are you just going to be entitled and say, oh, it doesn't matter, the audience doesn't know what they're talking about, but I do, because I have got these degrees and I've got this? Like, it's insane.
They learn the wrong lessons. That's the thing, and that's what I was afraid of after Top Gun Maverick was, are they going to learn the right lesson? Not the fact that they spent years perfecting the script and getting the right director, and making sure it was a movie that was made with care. by people who cared about it, and you can tell. The one reason why I have always stuck with Tom Cruise all of these years
Yeah.
was something that he said in an interview
Hmm.
20, 30 years ago. He said, I know that people expect a certain quality of film from me. And if I don't give that to them, they are going to let me know it.
Right. Well, remember, he's always thanking the audience if it's
Yes.
usually the new
You know,
Mission Impossible film, even though that one was way over budget, and
Yeah.
they're going to have to cut the
Yeah.
budget on the second part. But Maverick, of course, was a massive hit,
Mm.
and he was always thanking the audience. Thank you for
Yeah.
seeing this, and we appreciate it.
but you
Yeah.
know, the lesson that Hollywood in total took from that was not, oh, make these movies with love and care and respecting the the fans. It's, oh, I get it, people want sequels from movies from 30 years ago, but we're not going to
Right.
make them good, we're going to make them Tuesday.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, and
Mhm.
they
Yes.
took completely the wrong lesson, which was
They did.
exactly what I was afraid they would do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to make these sequels, at least make them good. If you're going to make these remakes, make them good. I mean,
Yeah.
some people will say, oh, well, you should go watch the new, I've heard this from some of my friends, go watch the Roadhouse. No, I want to just watch the original and that's enough. Why do I want to watch the remake? Oh, because Conor McGregor's in it and he's really good in it. Well, whoopee-doo. That's great if you feel that way. But once again, why do I need to watch this on Amazon? I can watch something else on there.
Wow, listen to you.
Yeah, I always heard a joke about that movie that I'm pretty sure is like about half true. Is Conor McGregor doesn't know he was in the Roadhouse remake. He just wandered on set and filmed them. You know?
It's just you look at the bar is so low for these remakes because they don't capture certain things. Yet if they just followed the formula like the Coen brothers did with True Grit and changed a few things,
Yeah.
but it still worked well, boom, you might have a hit.
You know, and
Just
the interesting thing about, and I know there are some people who don't like that version,
Of
but
course.
I think both versions
Yes.
work in their own way.
Agreed.
But the thing about the Coen brothers is it's actually closer to the source material.
Yes. They
Mhm.
very much care
You
about
know,
that. Yes.
The John Wayne version of True Grit, and I love that movie too, and I grew up
Oh,
with
it's a
it.
great movie. Great film.
In the end, after all of the posturing, in the end, it's still just a John Wayne movie. It's a better than usual John Wayne movie, but in the end, it still has his, for the lack of a better term, John Wayne isms.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
The Coen brothers movie doesn't have that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's closer to the intent of the novel.
Mhm.
You know, and I like I said, I think both versions
Yes.
have merit. You know, it's kind of like, if you remember the Mel Gibson movie Payback, there's two different versions of that.
Good film.
And
yeah.
I think both versions have their merit, but I understand why they went when they eventually did release in theaters, why they went with the version that
Well,
they did.
I mean, look at how good the Thomas Crown Affair is. I think both versions are
Both
quite good. I
versions,
really do.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, it is possible
Yes, they can do it.
and I've been bagging in the last year on remakes, and we're getting Nosferatu at the end of the month, and maybe that'll change
I'm
my
gonna.
mind.
I'm interested in that movie. Yes.
I have, I have some misgivings about all of these, remakes, because they just seem like they're hollow versions of
Right.
these movies that we've already seen. And,
Mhm.
That's
these
not
kind
good.
of these soft reboots, and like I said, what I refer to as the remakeables, which are just basically,
Remakeables, yeah.
the original movie, just beat for beat
Well,
all
that's
over again, and
yeah,
it feels like they're movies written by AI. That's how they
yeah,
come off. They
yeah. I
come
think
off
so.
like, you know, it's almost like they don't have screenwriters. Just put it into, put the plot of the original movie, change a little something here and there, put it into an app, and let's film whatever comes out.
Right.
You know,
And yeah, and to your point, Dark Woods presents. Yeah, it's the that whole thing about Joel became an iconic character in the game. And what they did to him the second game, and that's why people are so mad about it still, they disrespected him. It's not so much that you kill a character, spoiler alert, like people haven't seen it 1,000 times, but uh, it's the way that it was done and how Joel would feel in those situations and why would he ever put himself in that situation. That's why it was an insult to the iconic character that Joel has become, and that's why people will always feel torn about it. That doesn't mean that there isn't solid gameplay still. There is. But when you start messing up the story from the first one, and I know some people still have issues with the first Last of Us game, there's problems. And that's why, of course, I hate to say it, but the second game deserves to make less money because of certain decisions that they decided to make, especially Druckmann. So yeah, it's just crazy, but they do these things and then and I'm going to say I've watched some of the show. It's not bad. Some things they get right. Some stuff is pretty cool. But the person they cast for Ellie, it's like I just don't see it. It's just certain words that she uses. I'm like, Ellie would not say that in those games. So they make mistakes. But as Druckmann said, and as big of an ego as he has, he'll say, "Oh, well, we are going to change things that we don't think will work well in the game." So it's just it doesn't matter. Like Bill, I had forgotten when I saw that scene, and I remember being on another channel, and people were like, "Oh, you didn't like it because it's some two gay guys." It's like, no, it has nothing to do with that. But you guys want to always go to that card, fine. But the fact is, the way it was set up, Bill should have still been able to meet Ellie just like in the game because that worked a lot better than doing the suicide pact. And that's what happened in, what was it, episode 3, I think it was. And it was, yes, it was nice that they had this love story. That's not the problem. But it's the
No.
way that it finished executing was the issue, in my opinion.
Well, I didn't see this show, but
Right. That's
just knowing what I know, just story. I know enough about story to know that something like that is going to work. It just, that's why it comes off looking like a virtue signal.
right.
And then they always come back at us with the same thing of, oh, you're racist, or you're homophobic, or you're transphobic, whatever. And when they jump to that, you're telling me, someone who hasn't seen your show, your movie, or read your book, or read your comic book, you're telling me you made a turd.
Yeah.
And why should I waste my time? And why waste, I am not going to go on my channel and tell my audience to watch something like that,
Hmm.
because that insults their intelligence and it wastes their time. And I'm not going to do that. It's like I was saying earlier. I am not going to, you spend a lot of money going to a movie now, especially if you have a
Yes.
family.
Right.
Now, me, it's simple.
Hmm.
I go alone most of the time now.
Yeah.
I'm on the Regal Unlimited app, so I've already paid.
Right.
Hmm.
So that's different. I'm not someone with a wife and 3.2 kids and a dog who piles everybody into a minivan and goes to a movie where you could potentially spend up to $100 after ticket prices and concessions.
Yes.
And once I realized, once people were telling me, hey, there's been this hike in prices and the ticket prices are up and the concession prices are through the roof, that's when it hit me. I had to change my way of thinking when it came to, recommending a movie. I had to qualify it as, is this worth taking a trip that could potentially be hours if you have to go into another town to see, to go to a movie theater like you have to do in some places now.
Hmm.
Yes.
In a movie that could potentially be up to 2.5 to 3 hours, plus the half hour to 40 minutes of previews and ads that you get before that.
Mm-hmm.
It's time consuming.
Previews and ads for movies that you look at and you think to
Yeah.
yourself, I'm not sure that I want to see this.
Yeah.
But the point
Pretty much.
is it's a lot of time and money. And, I have to qualify it as, is this movie worthy enough to go and see in a theater? And so few of them are not. But so when you have someone who, throws out, as I called them earlier, these schoolyard insults, I'm just going to tell people, you know what, don't bother. That's why I came up with the whole hashtag, wallets closed, walk away, and be the competition.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to sound negative. We have people here on our platform who go out and make their own films. Curry Barker and Cooper Tomlinson spent $800 making Milk and Cereal. That movie is better than half the fucking movies that are out in theaters right now.
I believe it.
And all you
It's
have
because
to
fans have a lot
do
more
is go to their
passion when it
channel
comes-
and watch it.
Well, what I was going to say was it's because fans have a lot more passion when it comes to making their own films.
Yes. They really do.
I mean, I'm going to take a page out of Cash and Barron's book last night. They were talking about different camera angles, and
Hmm.
they were discussing a film where it was done by fans, and the fans actually did better film work with their camera works than anyone else.
I'll believe it.
Well, there's a love. There's a love to it.
There's a love, and that's because they care that much, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why it was so
Yeah.
silly when you have the fan project and even that game that was coming out and it was based on Batman '89, and Warner Brothers like, no, we're taking this down instead of encouraging this young man or whatever at the time and saying, dude, keep making this. and we'll support it. Like we'll have it in Warner Brothers, and it could have been an amazing game, but no, instead they just squashed the man's ideas. As much as he loves that film, it's really disheartening to see that all the time. Sure, they have a right to, but that doesn't mean it. They should. They should encourage these people all the time. It doesn't matter when they're doing these fan films. Netflix and other people. Wow, why don't we get these guys? Boom, money. Most likely. So, yeah.
Yeah, and when I looked more into Milk and Cereal, I kind of went into this whole. I fell down this rabbit hole of like these independent horror films that you can find just right here on YouTube. You just watch them for free, and a lot of them are pretty well done, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it's the love of the subject matter and the love of the process.
That's right.
It's like they want to make it look good. There's that investment of heart where you don't have that much in Hollywood anymore.
No.
It's an investment of feeling, not heart, and sloppy work because, we're getting our big union pay, and it doesn't matter. I got this job, and we'll slop it out. People don't know better. They're idiots.
Yeah,
like Sharon Stone and Alex Baldwin just dressing us dumb because they think we're morons. Hey, Alec Baldwin, by the way, kill anybody lately? Just asking for a friend.
Yeah, and that whole thing, that production should have been shut down, and even that person who got killed, like
it should have been shut down, and it should have been allowed to.
She knew what was going on too, and I'm not saying she deserved what she got. She didn't. But still, it's like that production should have been shut down, and until they fix the problems, then bring it back up, or just completely demolish it and do something else.
And Alec Baldwin's been acting long enough where he knows to check the revolver to see if it's loaded or not.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's just arrogant, that's all.
Yeah. That's an understatement. But it's always something with these projects and these shows and these stories and whatever. And then it's just like, deleted scene. I was very excited about watching season 2 of Arcane because I liked how things were going. And I know Baron and Mike haven't watched it yet. And then, finding out from another friend of mine recently, it's like, oh, well, they don't have the same writer, like the same one who did Toy Story 2 on season 2. Well, that explains a lot then. And they're making excuses, and they're like, well, this is hard. And of course it's all hard. It takes money and time and effort, whatever. But what came about it is just like, and people are like, oh, IGN and other websites like that, they're like, oh, well, the ending kind of fell short. It's like, no, a lot of things fell short in this season. And so, of course, other people argue with you and yell at you and it's like, how dare you, you just want too much. It's like, but look at how much we had in season 1. We should just have as much as season 2. And then when you're pushing main characters back, doesn't matter what story it is, that's a huge problem. To make room for new characters. Well, why you guys haven't done a good enough job to make other people care about these new characters? But she's a lesbian. Okay, that's fine. But how is that the only reason she adds to the story? Or is there another reason? And so then things become space magic or thing in these stories. And it's like every time no, that's not good. Just like the multiverse, you talk to some people about it and they're like, but it doesn't matter if a character dies or whatever, because the multiverse. It's like, it's such a cop out. It's such cheap writing. Oh, well, the multiverse will come in. So it's just, that's why it annoyed me so much with the second Spider-Verse film deleted, because it's like, you guys could have done better with certain things, and then it's like you got this evil this, and it's like, why are we going like this? Now, some people, that's fine. I know that movie made a lot of money. I get it. I've had discussions. People get mad at me for my opinion, some people on that film, but it's it was not as good as the first one with Kingpin and other things that went on. And it was disappointing. Gwen Stacy was not as good, I felt, in that second movie as she was in the first one. And that was disappointing. So it's just too bad. It's like you kind of get excited about this. And you're like, oh, the sequel's coming out. All right. Oh, but there's going to be now a trilogy. It's like, why? This could have just been one film and be done with it. But no, we had to do a sequel. Fine. And yes, there was some agenda stuff in there that was not in the first one, but that's not the main problem to me with the film. So
Right.
it's just too bad that these things happen. I understand these things can make a lot of money. I get it. I understand the animation is really good because it was. But just like Arcane season 2, but it's like you guys made some big mistakes with this, in my opinion. And now people feel like with Arcane season 2, I'm hearing it from one of my friends, Crit, and other people deleted that people don't even want to admit that exists anymore. The second season. I'm like, wow, that's harsh.
Yeah, that's not good.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
And when you're doing a series, and I'll use this as an example because there's a few things that you've brought up here in the last few minutes that kind of relate to it. I was a big fan of a show called Person of Interest.
Oh yeah,
I
It
still
was
love
on,
that show, man.
CBS.
It's been a long time since I watched
I
it.
love that show.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I thought it did very well was it paid attention. It never deviated from its own lore.
No, it didn't.
And that had a
No.
very rich
Yes.
mythology, and that's one of the things that series television used to have. You had these
Yes,
long-running shows that had this mythology to them,
Yes.
that had
yes.
lore, that had things
Mhm.
that connected together, references that seem, like there will be something that will happen in season 1 that you kind of almost forget about, and then holy shit, in season 3 you realize that was something that was important,
Mm-hmm.
but you remember because the show sticks to the lore. And that's something that I think is missing now
It is.
in series. It's just that, and this is something that happens much more in film, but I'm beginning to see it happen in television just by what people are telling me, is that it's almost like you have scripts written by, you have one writer write one page, he will give that page to another writer who will write the next page. And that's kind of what it feels like.
It does. I
And
agree.
somewhere along the way, the lore disappears. But if you have a show like Person of Interest, like
yeah.
the Sci-Fi Channel Battlestar Galactica, you have
Right.
something old school like Hill Street Blues,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
or something like
show.
that,
Mm-hmm.
Where there was this serialized angle to it. There would be the story of the week. And this is something that Person of Interest was very good at.
Yes.
You had the story of the week, but you also had this mythology that was being woven in between everything.
Yep.
And,
And when people died in that show, man, it made an impact. I know it's funny.
Yes.
We have a person in here. He's like, yeah, but did we need another show about AI? It's like, look, I get your point on that, but I just love Person of Interest so much. It's just like the Nolan brothers, they can make mistakes, sure, but even because Jonathan Nolan, of course, did a lot of writing with the Fallout show, and it's like you know, it's funny. Before the show came out, you said, "Oh, we don't really follow the source material." Well, you guys probably followed it pretty well because it did feel like the games. It did feel like New Vegas and stuff. And then telling him, "Hey, I was also told the main star to play New Vegas." Great, that's a great thing to do. Like, so you guys say first we don't care that much. It's like you're trolling us, and then people start getting annoyed, and then they watch the show, and it's like, oh crap, like they really did follow a lot of the source material, which is great. And that's why, of course, Jonathan's one of the main writers, of course, on Person of Interest. And you had characters from the female characters that matter. You had male characters that mattered. You had people who died that mattered. And that's how I also felt about Matt Reeves and I can't think of the woman now who was the creator on the Penguin show. And it was like, wow, we're getting a Penguin meets Sopranos. I'm all for this. Let's have more of this direction. I like this. So without the Batman, we don't get the Penguin show. But like, this is what I want more of, Deleted. I want to feel something. So when a character dies or the way they die, it's like, oh shit. Wow. Okay.
You know,
all right. You guys got me. All right.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that was, because you are told, and this isn't giving anything away, you're told this right away. In the first episode of Person of Interest, you are told we will probably end up dead.
Right.
One of the characters actually says that when this is all over, we will probably not survive. You know, so you always have that hanging over them. But whenever a character in that show, because it was so well written, and it was and the characters were so well developed and layered, you know, and when you find out that, you know, some of the good guys aren't necessarily good guys, and some of the bad guys aren't necessarily completely bad, you know. But the point is when one of them, even when like a second tier villain dies, it meant something within that world, you know. And it was in I miss writing like that.
Me too, man.
You know,
and that's why it doesn't make any sense, because of course, you know, J.J. Abrams was a producer on Person of Interest. That's why it doesn't make sense, because even Alias, even if people want to say it's a ripoff of Bond and it's just the characters, even the same with Felicity, why there was so much buildup. So what happened, JJ? Why didn't you build up Ray and the other characters like your other shows? Because once again, you know, I understand Star Wars is a different beast, but why did you not build up your other characters in Star Wars like you did with your other shows? Makes no sense.
I have no sense.
No, but what makes sense is in 3 minutes we will be moving over to the Rumble exclusive side of the broadcast, where we do get a little bit more political and bring up subjects in current events that are currently happening, and
Rumble.
Everybody is welcome to join us over on that side when we do head over there in approximately 2 minutes.
Approximately. 2.5 minutes. There. Enough of that approximately crap.
You know, and it's funny, Deleted, because you if you were in an interview with certain people, it's like, look, you did this. Why are you going and doing this? It's so weird, man. It just doesn't make any sense. You build up all these different characters, but because this is a property and of course it's a new beast, oh no, we have to have less. That doesn't make sense. It never does.
Anonymous. So I missed
my,
on the internet.
Freaking Anonymous, dude.
Yeah. You know what? I said I was gonna do it Sunday, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it from now on, because I know he's gonna be lurking. But every time you're here, Anonymous, even when I don't see you in the chat,
Anonymous. Anonymous. Anonymous.
Anonymous, you're out of control lately, man. Go back to your she shed.
Hey, Jet Sparks, how you doing, brother?
Hello, Jet.
Oh, he's been lurking over there. Ooh.
No.
Yes,
Lurkers
yes.
everywhere.
He and Anonymous have conspired to lurk.
Mhm.
Nothing wrong with lurkers either.
No.
Unless you're in grade 17.
Oh, not a problem. I enjoy having special guests on Pacific 4 and 4 Pop Talk, and I'm gonna put this out there for everybody watching on all channels that if you'd like to be a guest on Pacific 4 and 4 Pop Talk in 2025, send me a DM. Let's put something together. I'll definitely ask you if you prefer to be on during a Sunday when we start at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, or on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. in the afternoon, and both times are Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. Anonymous wants to be on the next leap day.
Anonymous. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
well,
talk,
it's really
guys.
great.
Yeah, well, if you'd like to join us over on the Rumble side here shortly, you're more than welcome. I'm sure we have topics that we want to bring up over on that side. But of course, before we go to that side, I do want to thank everybody who was watching on the YouTube side on both channels. Actually, all three channels, I should say. Deleted Scenes, our guest, was here. The birthday boy, Phil McCracken, was here.
I hear Joey was blowing out his candle. They got confused.
And Space Fraggle was here. See you on Arrakis. As was Cass 427. Fabric Folds. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Big Al presents.
Is that Big El DeVecchio of Arnold's? I want a hamburger.
The Padawannabe. Dark Woods presents. That crazy Norwegian who Baron and Cash get to do the Beyond with tomorrow, every Thursday
Awesome.
at 7:30, or
Oh,
whatever they says we're going live
That's right.
Yeah, don't remind me.
over on 540 Studio. Thanks, Jace. FKHC 2005, also known as Tim, was here. And it's good to see Paul. He hasn't
Hey.
been around in a while. I know he's been busy, but it's good to see you, brother.
Hey, Paul.
Gotta get you back on the show sometime when you're available to do so.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're wrong. No, I'm Mike. I'm usually right. Don't listen to those other two. Don't listen to those other two. Okay, even I'm wrong. DJ Ronnie G.
Nerd.
And of course, we had JPR PH1. Good to see you. The king of all lurkers, Anonymous.
Crazy.
Jet
Sparks 373. I know you're still over on the Rumble side. So thank you for joining us, brother. And DJ Play Nice. Again, the link is in the chat if anyone wants to join us over on Rumble, because we are heading over to Rumble right after these credits roll.
Rumble, rumble, rumble.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
Puck Tuck is where it's at, baby.
Kraken, worst troll ever. Put this change in my piggy bank.